There are only 7 types of writers who make real money, and most people don't even know these exist. I've spent 20 plus years working with corporate brands, copywriters, even struggling authors, and I've learned what it actually takes to make money as a writer. So here are the 7 best writing careers that could actually make you a millionaire. The first career is one where you can double or triple your income just with performance bonuses. It's channel strategists. Here's why most writers stay broke. They charge by the hour or even sometimes by the project, but there's a ceiling to that model. Even at $200 an hour, you can only work so many hours. Now, channel strategists break through that ceiling completely. So instead of selling your time, you sell your ability to fix specific, measurable problems in a marketing funnel. Think of it like plumbing. So water flows through pipes, right? But somewhere there's like a clog. Maybe email open rates are great, but click-through rates are terrible, or 80% of people watch the webinar, but only 5% buy. Something there is broken. You find it, you fix it. And here's where the money gets interesting. You specialize in one channel like email, YouTube, LinkedIn, and you charge a retainer plus a performance bonus tied directly to results. Now, one of my students negotiated this, $10,000 a month to optimize your evergreen webinar funnel. Then she said, once I get you over $100,000 in new monthly revenue, I take 10% of everything above that. So when the funnel hit $200,000 per month, she was making $20,000 just on that. The client, of course, was thrilled, because now they're making $180,000 that they were not making before. When you're a channel strategist, you're not selling your time anymore. You're selling your ability to solve measurable business problems. Companies pay massive premiums for someone who can say, look, I'll take you from $50,000 to $150,000 in monthly revenue and then deliver it. But you need to position yourself as a consultant, never as a freelancer. Offer a $20,000 channel audit first. Follow with a monthly retainer for ongoing optimization. Add performance bonuses that kick in at specific revenue milestones. Next up is career number 2, messaging and brand strategists. Here is a problem every growing company faces. They have 5 different people writing copy. The website says one thing, the sales team says something else. Email campaigns have a completely different message, even tone. Nothing connects. Now that's the messaging bottleneck, and it costs companies millions and millions of dollars. That's where the messaging strategists come in. We figure out what to say. So in this role, you listen to voice of customer data, you audit competitors, and then create what we call a messaging source document or a message matrix. I use a 36-beat message matrix that maps out every single message a prospect needs to hear as they move through the customer journey. This master document tells everyone in the company exactly what to say, when to say it, how to say it, and why it matters. It is the foundation on which everything else gets built. Then, brand strategists figure out how to say it right. Are you empathy first? Are you bold and contrarian? That voice needs to stay consistent everywhere or the brand falls apart. Think about liquid death. It is literally water in a can. Anyone could copy that product. Some have tried, but the brand voice is so distinctive that they've really become impossible to replicate. That's what brand strategy creates. So companies that might devalue writing will still pay 6 figures for messaging strategy or brand consulting. Couple these 2 skills and you can make a lot of money. You're not selling prettier words, you're solving a business problem. The messaging bottleneck that is costing the business revenue. To make this work, you can offer things like an intensive 2 to 3 day workshop where you audit their messaging, you interview their customers, and you deliver a complete messaging source document. Charge $30,000 to $50,000, somewhere in there. Then offer an ongoing retainer to ensure that teams implement it correctly. These sound like big numbers, but they're not. Moving on to career number 3, the copywriter. Most people get copywriting completely wrong. They think it's about making things sound good, writing clever headlines, using fancy words. That is not what copywriting is. Copywriting has one job: get someone, the reader, to say yes. Give me your email, book the call, buy the product. And because that action ties directly to revenue, smart CEOs actually care about copy quite a lot. Now, here's how that works for me. So a software company might bring me in for, a $10,000, $20,000 homepage rewrite. Cool. We finish the project. Their conversion rate jumps from 2% to 4%. That's double. Suddenly, they're getting twice as many demos from the same traffic. Within 2 weeks, they're back. Can you help us write our email sequence? Can you fix our landing pages? Now, that first 10, 20K project was not the real money. We're gonna lose money on it. It was the door opener. Once they realize you're solving actual revenue problems, they keep coming back with bigger budgets. That's why copywriters earn more than any other type of writer. And by the way, lots of famous writers you've probably read have made their money this way when they were starting out. So James Patterson, the novelist, started as a junior copywriter at J. Walter Thompson. Salman Rushdie worked at Ogilvy for years. Don DeLillo, whose name I've never been able to say, spent 5 years at Ogilvy writing print ads for Sears. Now, these were not side gigs. Copywriting was their day job. It funded the writing that they really wanted to do. Great copywriters treat the job like science first, art second. You're not gonna write copy based on gut feeling. Here is what you do. You listen to voice of customer data from sales calls, surveys, reviews. Every word exists to support one goal, getting people to say yes. So you'll watch sales call recordings. You'll read customer reviews word for word, synthesize what you hear into a message map, then choose your copywriting framework based on what prospects actually said, then assemble the copy using their language. Career number 4, very popular today, content writers. Here's the mistake that keeps content writers broke. They think their job is writing information books or educational content. But great content writing is actually a very long-form sales page disguised as education. You're not actually just informing someone, you're moving them through stages of awareness until they're ready to book a call or buy. We have done this for companies like Launch Darkly and Pluralsight. We create content pieces that look purely educational, reports, things like that. 20 pages of insights and frameworks. But every paragraph is architected to transform someone from vaguely interested lead to ready to buy right now. By the time they get on a sales call, they're not asking, what does your product do? How does it help? They're asking, okay, how fast can we implement this? They're asking buyer questions, and that's what strategic content writing creates for sales teams. If you do this work in-house at a company like Stripe, you're looking at $250 to $350 a year. Content writing guides readers through stages of awareness without them noticing. You move them from problem awareness to solution awareness to product awareness. They feel like they discovered the answer themselves, but you architected that discovery. So before writing any content, answer these 2 questions. What transformation am I creating, and what should the reader believe after this? Then structure the document like a sales page stretched over 5,000, even 10,000 words. Hook with their problem, agitate it, introduce the solution category, position your product. Career number 5 is ghostwriting. Here's something that every CEO struggles with. They have 20, 30 years of experience trapped in their head. They know they should write a book. Writing a book is the fastest shortcut to being seen as an expert. I started Copy Hackers by writing 4 copywriting ebooks, really short ones, and making $20,000 in 3 days with them. But more valuable than the money was the positioning. Instantly, because of those books, I was the expert. CEOs have no time to write those books, and when they try, they simply typically cannot organize their thoughts into a coherent story. That's where ghostwriters, storytellers, make a lot of money. You interview the CEO, extract the insights, and turn everything that they say into a book that will build their authority. But here is the problem. Most ghostwriters leave money on the table because they think their job is just delivering a manuscript. Write the book, hand it over, done. No. One of my students approaches it very differently. If clients want speaking gigs, she plants seeds throughout the book that make readers want to hire them. If they want leads, she structures it like a long-form sales page. She's solving the business problem, not just checking off the writing task. So great ghostwriters don't just transcribe interviews. They find and recognize the story structure that the client can't see. You bring storytelling skills, bookending, creating villains, building transformation arcs. So don't just offer ghostwriting, add adjacent services. You'll write the book, then optimize their Amazon page. You'll set up Amazon ads for them and build their book launch PR strategy. When you solve the entire problem, you become irreplaceable. Number 6 is newsletter writers. So my friend Caitlin Bourgeois writes this newsletter called Why We Buy. She publishes twice weekly. She has built a very healthy six-figure business purely through newsletter sponsorships because her audience engagement is incredibly high. Here's what everyone misses. Money isn't just in the writing. It's in knowing the platform you're writing on deeply. So you need tactics for keeping readers engaged, optimizing algorithms, getting sponsors or advertisers, and converting free subscribers to paid. CEOs are hiring ghostwriters specifically for newsletters to put a human face on their brand. You can charge good money, $5,000 to $10,000 a month, to write someone's newsletter. If you also grow their list and bring in sponsors, you become indispensable. Now, here's what most people misunderstand about newsletters. They think it's just like blogging with email, write some thoughts, hit send, repeat. But that's not actually how successful newsletter writers make money. The ones who are building six-figure businesses understand that newsletters are relationship-building machines at scale. You are building trust week after week after week until people feel like they know you personally. So just master one platform, Substack or LinkedIn. Learn about list growth, getting recommended in other newsletters, pitching sponsors, then package your offer. I will write your newsletter, I'll grow your list by X, and I'll bring in sponsors. That's how you can start charging at least $10,000 a month. All right, the last career gets a bad rep, but you can still make a lot of money with it if you do it the right way: screenwriting. Before Mike White wrote one of the most acclaimed TV shows of recent times, he spent 25 years watching his work get canceled. HBO pulled Enlightened after 2 seasons. His sitcom Cracking Up got axed before the first season finished. Pasadena only aired 4 of 13 episodes before it got canceled. Most people would have quit after 1 year, 5 years, maybe 10. But White kept going. And in 2021, he created The White Lotus. Obviously a massive hit. Awards everywhere, cultural phenomenon. But here's the problem. Most aspiring screenwriters can't, stay in the ocean for 25 years. Not because they lack talent, because they run out of money. Screenwriting is brutal because you basically have to relocate. You can't do this remotely from Nebraska. You have to move to LA or New York to be in the room where deals happen. The coffee meetings, the industry events, the random brunches where someone mentions they need a writer. And then you have to financially survive years, sometimes decades, of rejection while you're there. But there's an easier strategy to do this. So, if you're serious about screenwriting, I recommend you actually go back and pick one of the other 6 careers I just talked about as your financial foundation first. Work remotely in one of those careers, then, fly to LA for meetings, or fine, move to LA, but freelance copywriting, freelance content writing to cover rent while you network. The screenwriters who make millions are not just talented, they're the ones who solved the money problem so they could stay in the game long enough to win. Now that you know which writing careers actually make serious money, none of them work unless you master the exact skills that make people listen, trust you, and say yes. So click the next video and I'll show you the 5-word skills the top 1% use to gain power, respect, and leverage, and how you can start building them today.